And we're adjourned. No, just kidding. Welcome, everyone, to the March 5th City of Coos Bay work session. I welcome everyone to the room, and we will start with our limited roll call. We'll start with online. Carmen?
It's muted.
Hello.
All right. And in the room, starting at the end.
Rex Miller.
You use your microphone. Sorry. The big button. There we go.
Rex Miller here.
Harv Shabothi.
Ariane Lyons.
Kurt Benward.
Greg Hamblett.
Christine Sylvester.
All right. Do we have public comment today? Nope. All right. Moving on down to item 3A, presentation and discussion of the draft fiscal year 27 parks budget. We're getting $3 million.
So, the City of Coos Bay Parks Commission.
It's called positive affirmation.
I didn't even acknowledge that. Man, I wish. But I don't think that's going to happen. But who knows? In the future, we can always hope. The City of Coos Bay Parks Commission has requested the opportunity to review the proposed draft budget for Fund 37, park operations and capital improvements, prior to its consideration for formal approval by the Budget Committee. The attached document represents staff's recommended draft budget for Fund 37. This proposal reflects staff's current assessment of operational needs, capital priorities, and available resources. It is important to note that this is a working draft. Final approval of the budget will occur through the city's formal budget adoption procedures, and the document may be revised based on input received during that process. So before you today, we have staff's recommended budget, draft budget. One thing I'd like to note in kind of looking at it today before I got into the meeting, I did notice that one of the lines didn't get brought over onto the PDF, and that was my carryover line, which is on the very top of the resources, right under ops proposed budget. I don't know why that happened, but the carryover balance that we're proposing is a total of $871,487 is the carryover that staff is proposing. Again, I'd like to just reiterate that this is staff's proposal. We do have a budget committee that does review these. You'll see in here we do have some notes, we do have some proposals that staff would like to do. Perhaps in the future, they may say, no, we're not going to do that. This is your budget. This is what you got to live with. But this is what staff has identified as this is what we would like to do. And so we can go through it line by line. I can answer any questions that you folks might have. But let's get it kicked off here.
All right.
Can I ask just a general question first? So way over on the right-hand side, we've got proposed 2026-27, and then we've got another column off to the side. It's either operations or oops, I don't know which one, but let's assume that it's operation. What's the difference between those two? Why do I have those two columns?
One is proposed, that's been pushed out by the city management. This is our proposed budget. This ops is what we're proposing, the staff is proposing in kind of a retort to this is what we see and how we'd like to see it.
So proposed is city manager's office, ops is kind of what you guys are looking at, staff is looking at. Okay, cool. That helps.
Yeah. All right. Any other general questions? If not, then we'll go line by line. All right. Take it away.
All right. Do you want to just start at the top and work our way down, or do you want to?
Yeah, and maybe we could cluster it with, the heading item, and then if people have questions, then we could go through each of the individual
Sure.
pieces.
So we'll start at the top at resources. Resources, we are funded by the general fund. We did move it over into Fund 37, but the Fund 37 is still funded by the general fund. So just starting at the top, state grants, private donations. We don't have anything in there because We just don't know what we're gonna get.
Right.
And we don't wanna be, you know, living in a dream world that we're gonna get X amount of dollars, but we wanna be realistic and say we're gonna get zero. Anything above and beyond zero is gonna be a bonus.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
I was gonna-
Yeah.
I was going to ask you one.
Oh, you go ahead.
Absolutely.
I went first already, you go.
Okay. I'm looking at it from the standpoint, and I've been involved with budgets at the state and local level for an awful lot of years. Sometimes we'll put a figure in that state grants because we're looking for limitation. We may not actually receive it, but on the other hand, if the budget establishes the limitation for you, then maybe you would want to put a figure in there is kind of where I'm coming from.
Kind of almost like a placeholder, too. Yeah, okay. And I also think lots of times when you go out for grants and stuff, they're going to look at what your budget is, and if you don't have anything in there saying you're trying to raise some private donations or whatever, they may look at that a different way, too.
Yeah,
That's a good point, Art.
That's my thought, Kurt.
The question that I had, you know, we've got that line item under grants and intergovernmental resources for private grants and donations. Yet down below under other financing resources, we have private grants and donations. And I just wanted to know what the distinction between the two was.
And I asked that same question. So I do have a note in my budget to ask that question.
Okay.
So,
But it seems funny, I mean, if it just said like, you know, state grants or state something, I could understand, but they both say private grants too, so it seems like a duplication.
yeah, we're asking that same question. What is the difference between this and the line item above? So, just kind of any other questions regarding grants?
Do we have any requests for any kind of state grant money outstanding right now?
Not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
state grants. Well, we have applied for a few grants, but Jennifer, do you know of any other state grants? I don't think so. We've applied for, but we don't. You know,
Okay.
we don't know if we're going to be successful.
Is any of the carryover coming from this particular section? You talked about the carryover amount. Do you have that categorized?
So the carryover projection that staff has projected is carried over from unexpended dollars from throughout the budget, what we
Okay.
anticipate having left over at the end of the year.
Okay.
Again, will that go back into the general fund? I don't know.
Okay. I was just curious if some of that was factoring in some of those state grant dollars that maybe had not been expended all the way.
No, so if the grant is a reimbursable grant.
Yeah.
So at the end of the grant, it'll be squared away.
Okay.
And so we won't have any extra dollars from those grants that we have out there now.
That, in your carryover shouldn't have to go back to the general fund.
It shouldn't. No, it shouldn't.
Should not.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I actually just talked to the city manager about that. And we tend to agree, but that means that will be less that's transferred over from the general fund. So we're kind of working out, like, we know every year there's going to be some personnel services. Every year there's going to be utility bills. Every year there's going to be operational expenses. Those should be transferred over from the general fund. But you're right, and that's going to be resolved. But as Greg said, this is not finalized. In a perfect world, we would have already met with the city manager and only had one column to show you. But right now, we've kind of toggling between two columns. We plan on meeting with the city manager here in the next week or so to finalize it before it's sent out to the budget committee.
Because your salaries all come out of this general fund, am I correct?
Well, there's several different, yes, but there's also there's fund too. There's other funds that also contribute to that.
It's budgeted in there, and I mean, it's on the next page is the salaries and the other stuff too. And I'm assuming, you know, when I've been involved in other city endeavors, that carryover is to try to make sure that you can meet those things like payroll stuff before tax receipts come in.
Yeah, and Nicole, exactly, because they don't come in first 90 days. You gotta make sure you have expenses. And Nicole was very open to that carryover is that carryover, but with in mind that there may be less that's transferred over from the general fund.
Well, the heck with that.
I know. Thank you.
Let's say,
Whoops.
let's have a united front.
Yeah.
Because you're in the, so Cricket Souls and the cemetery, so we used to have a line item for, a designated thing, you set something up for the cemetery, and at one time we had $10 in it, and potentially things left over from Virginia Hausler's, and I can't find that, and I don't know if you still have money that kind of is headed for the cemetery.
She wants her $10.
I want my $10, right? Every little bit helps. And you had set up and I don't remember the number of but it was a line item designated for the cemetery. And that would be good to know, too, if we do get someone that wants to donate.
donate specifically for
That's one reason we usually use the school, because we have,
In my time.
in your time.
As the operations administrator.
Yep, in your time.
I don't recall seeing a line item for.
You were the
Pioneer
ones,
Cemetery.
you set it up, and I had a number at one time. So,
As in our budget.
It-
Now, we may have a account in finance.
Maybe that's where it
For somebody
is.
to make a donation
okay,
to, and I'm sure that count is still there.
Okay.
under-
Maybe that's where it
in
is.
that. But yeah, as far as a GL or an accounting code in our budget,
okay.
we don't have that in our budget.
Just-
But I'm sure that we still have folks that want to come in and make a donation to the Pioneer Cemetery. That I'm sure that's still
See
there.
if what's in there, there should have been some left from Virginia Hausler, and $10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
$10 is $10.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. All right, where were we?
Use of money and property investment interest.
So investment incomes, so this last fiscal year, when they budgeted, so let's just quick go over the columns while we're here. So we have the actual 23-24, actual 24-25, actual, or council adopted 25-26, and then actual 25-26. If you look at the first two columns, Fund 37 did not exist. And then 25-26, Fund 37 was created. And then the actual is where we're at. So you can see council adopted, under that investment income, they had adopted a dollar amount of $12,877. So far, we've received $7,942 this year. So we're just anticipating that we're going to get about $5,000 is what staff is estimating on that. And so for total use of money in that subcategory is about $5,000. Scrolling down to other financing sources, miscellaneous kind of speaks for itself. $500. I'm not sure what miscellaneous means, but to me it's kind of a miscellaneous line item. Private grants, I do have a note there. Again, we talked about that already. Gifts and donations. This year we've received 0 in gifts and donations, so we anticipate 0. But you can see we have a carryover there of we anticipate having $0 in that fund.
The gifts and donations thing is the same. I mean, it's a duplicate of what's above there as well, because we have donations there as well. It just kind of seems like it should be kind of in one place and.
Yep, and I've got that.
And not another. So
Is this a duplicate?
mortgage fees?
Mortgage fees, so we're proposing a new line item there
I was
as a
just-
resource.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And we kind of calculated it out. We're anticipating about $40,000 in mortgage fees. We want that to be a resource for our parks, because that's where, and we also deep down, further down in the budget, we do have a line item for mortgage expenditures. So it's just going to be $40,000 coming in. We budgeted $40,000 for mortgage expenditures for this next year.
Great.
So that's what we proposed.
But I noticed the city didn't include it in their column.
No, we have proposed it. It was not there, so that came out of our meetings at a staff level.
So what's your feel? You think they're going to go for it?
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't.
Okay.
I hope that they do. But, it's their committee, so I don't know. I hope so.
Does that require any kind of ordinance change or anything?
No, I don't think so.
Because there's a fee schedule, even for photocopying crap.
Well, we have a fee schedule for mortgage, and so we already have that fee schedule in there, and now it's just designating where it's going to go,
Okay.
and how it's going to be, how it's going to come in, where it's going to go once it does come in, and then how it's going to be spent.
Okay, cool.
And then the next section is transfer ins, transfers general fund. We're asking for $881,659. Again, don't know where that landed or will land. So we're being very hopeful with our budget. And so our total park resources, what we're proposing is $1,798,000.
And the capital improvement fund, the transfer in from the general fund, I did zero it out. There was a project in 25, 26 that they're not supporting in 26, 27?
So the capital fund was transferred from the Fund 45, which is where all our capital funds were. They transferred over into this Fund 37 this last year, and we have used that for the restrooms.
Yeah, but we don't have anything budgeted for next year.
We don't, we do down in the bottom, but we don't have any more transfer funds coming in from Fund 45,
Okay,
because that came in from Fund 45.
okay,
Now Fund 45, Parks Capital is no longer housed there. It got moved over to this budget
okay.
this year.
So now we have a new line item for parks capital projects, so number 37.
But
we don't have any money in there for anything.
We don't have a funding source, which is why we've been having this ongoing conversation about funding for parks capital projects and how we fund our parks.
So you're being bold at $881,000, but you're not going to ask for any capital funds, huh?
Being very bold.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
We want to allocate our dollars properly.
Jennifer's making faces. She sucked on a lemon or something out there. I don't know.
All right. Any other questions there, Kurt? Any other questions? All right.
Expenditures.
So personnel services, just kind of jumping down. Staff didn't make any deviations from recommendations from the city manager's office in this section. We looked at what they had, we kind of agreed with where they were at with that section.
Okay, I got questions.
Go ahead.
I noticed that the salaries have gone up about $44,000. Were we able to hire a new person, or is that just COLA stuff?
It's just COLA stuff.
Okay,
$44,000, probably not going to do an FTE,
okay.
but
I didn't know if you were going to do a part-time person or something, or if you had to pay for like a camp host or something. I noticed employee payroll taxes sharply reduced from approved for $12,000, and now we're assuming payroll taxes are only $1,641. Payroll taxes are usually what, Social Security?
I'm not sure.
I think it is.
I didn't go deep dive into this section because we pulled these numbers straight from the finance department.
Yeah. To me, usually payroll taxes are Social Security, and I can't see why they would decrease that much if you have the same number of staff.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth,
Normally, it's the employer side of the Social Security.
that's your percentage into
Yeah.
their Social Security fund. So, and then I noticed there was a sharp increase in employee insurance. And is that, we're talking health insurance there? Is that what that is?
About a $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you gotten your insurance bill? Yes. Mine went up substantial.
No surprise.
I mean, that's probably what it is, and I understand the COLA's on the salary, so that's just what it is. But the employer payroll taxes, I would really check on, because unless I'm really don't understand, it seems like that probably should not have been reduced that much.
I'll ask the question.
Yeah.
Any other questions regarding the personnel services? All right. Moving down to material and services. So this year, I think we managed the budget pretty well at a staff level in the material services, pretty much across the board. I think we do have some areas where we differ from city manager's office a little bit, not too much. In some areas, there's a few line items where we vary quite a bit.
Could be like concrete and asphalt.
Could be. But for the
You should
most
never
part,
give these things out ahead of time, I'm just telling you.
no, this is why we give it out.
Yeah,
And so,
I think the concrete and asphalt is under budgeted, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the city only wanted to spend 20,000, and the staff wants
That's what, 2
wants
potholes?
100,000, and maintenance, building and grounds maintenance, they only want 75,000,
Well,
and staff wants 242,000.
this is for parks, and, you know, we do have dreams, right? So, I think a couple meetings ago, I said, you know, once we have the resources, you can see what we do with it. I think it's evidence in Mingus, it's evidence in some of the other projects that we've done this year. And so I know I'm very proud of the staff and the effort that we've done. And so all we're, you know, kind of reflecting here is, yeah, we've asked for some extra dollars in certain areas because we do have some wants or some needs that we're identifying. Again, this is up for budget approval. They could say, no, we're going to give you $20,000 and that's what you're going to get. But we've identified some projects that we want to get done. And so we'll give them the ideas and we'll give them the opportunity to review those and let them say, yes, we're going to go for it. Yeah, we're going to go for part of them. No, we're not going to go for any of them. But we want to, if we don't throw it out there, we don't throw out the line, we don't cast the net, we won't get anything, right? So we shoot for it all and maybe get some of it.
Next time I have to buy a car, I'm taking you with me. And I'm assuming, so do you or you and Jennifer make a presentation to the budget committee when you do this?
So last couple of years, the Public Works Director has made the presentation of our budget to the Budget Committee.
But now, okay, but now you have your own line items.
We do have it. So last year, again, the Public Works Director, I think this year, the Public Works Director has asked if we can present our budgets. And so I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
Because I'm just thinking that, again, my limited experience is when you want a big increase like that, exactly what you're talking about, if you have specific projects that you can list and show to them and say, here's what we're going to do with the money, then yeah, I have a lot better chance of getting it. And I would think if you guys present the budget, it would be explained well, where maybe if somebody else doesn't do it, the explanation might not be as satisfying.
I haven't had the opportunity to sit in one of those yet, but I'm thinking you're absolutely correct. So
Okay.
it should be fun. I don't know if fun's the right term, but it should be interesting.
Entertaining?
Yeah.
All right.
Or frustrating.
Yeah,
Or it could be great.
Could be
it
great.
could be.
You never know.
But again, oh, never mind, we're in expenditures, never mind.
So do you want to start at the top and just kind of run through each one, or do you want to go, do you guys have particular ones you want to talk about? We do have quite a lot of line items to go through.
Yeah, let's do highlighted ones.
Well, yeah, I will tell you the only ones that I had highlighted on this front page, two of them we've already talked about. I think the rest of them are pretty much in line with stuff that you've done in previous years, and so that's not a big deal. I worry a little bit about petroleum products at $10,000 because I just see these gas prices going up for a while, but we'll hope that we're in the ballpark. The one other one that I had was the boat ramps maintenance down at the bottom. They really lowballed you at 25, considering they did 45,000 the year before, and so 39.5 doesn't seem unreasonable to me. But at the very top of the next page is the marina maintenance, and that's the moorage fee is the $40,000. And I was just going to maybe have you explain to me what the marina maintenance is as opposed to the boat ramps maintenance, what the difference is between those two.
So historically, up until this proposal, marina maintenance was covered under boat ramp maintenance. And so we would get X amount of dollars a year, and we would have to do marina maintenance with the boat ramp maintenance dollars. And so we do have specific projects under the boat ramp maintenance line item. Like, for example, we have $20,000 for general maintenance, bathroom repainting, interior and exterior out of East Side. We have $5,000 for new bathroom fascia boards out of Empire, fish station repaint fascia boards out of East Side, and another $3,000 for grinding pumps out of East Side. So we do have specific projects at specific locations that we want to spend those dollars at. And so with the marina maintenance dollars, we want to focus those dollars specifically to the marina. So our moorage guests at the marina, they're paying, and we want to be able to start, we've been supplementing that for so many years that we haven't been able to get ahead of it. So we've been behind it a lot on deferred maintenance, on not being able to do the things that we wanted to do down there. And so with these dollars, these proposed dollars, is do some maintenance and, kind of make that area better each year. Do specific projects, go in there and redo some of the handrails down there, move some of the water lines, create a safer environment, get rid of some trip hazards, create get involved with the clean harbors and those things to be able to upgrade our facility to be more compliant with those standards. And so that's our goal. So that's the dollars for the marina maintenance, and then the boat ramp maintenance are going to be specifically for the 2 boat ramps, so that we can maintain those in a more efficient manner as well.
Thanks. That makes perfect sense. And part of the reason I asked the question is you're asking for $40,000 on the top end with the mortgage fees. And I can see somebody on the budget committee saying, well, making sure what that $40,000 is, and isn't that the same thing as boat ramps maintenance? And I think you explained it really well. And so as well as, being able to explain to them the difference between those two so they can see where that $40,000 going is a great idea. So I appreciate that. I have questions about Mingus Pool operation because I don't know much about it, to tell you the truth. But the one line item that struck me was the utilities for it, because it was budgeted for $75,000 and the city only wanted 40, and you guys are preparing 55. And I can't imagine their expenses are going down that much unless there's something I'm not aware of.
So operating the pool down there, we have a new boiler. We're operating it at a different level than we have historically. Utility costs, they ebb and flow with the weather. This year we've had kind of a mild winter so far, somewhat. We had a few cold days, but fairly mild winter. If you look at where we've been expended so far, we're about $29,482 at the writing of this in March. I'm sorry, in February when this was put out. And so, we do have utility costs, but we watch those pretty regularly. We track those utility costs. And so we've been kind of eyeballing it, where are we going to go. So we did include an increase of about 5% over our utility costs, and kind of track that out. So last year they budgeted $75,000. We're not going to come close to that. $40,000, it seems a little bit too low.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that $55,000 is going to come right into where we need to be. We do have, we could have some unanticipated colder weather still in front of us. You saw just last week or a week and a half ago, we had the real cold weather. And it takes a heavier toll on the boiler and trying to heat that water up and all of that. So, I think it's hit or miss. We just can't predict what the future is going to be as far as utility costs, but we got to account for it. We got to kind of set, anticipate what it's going to do. If we don't anticipate right, we could be on a short stick. If we anticipate too much, we have a budget of $75,000 that we're not going to touch, and then we got a budget committee saying, hey, we budgeted $75,000 for you, and you guys didn't even touch it. So we're going to give you just $35,000 this year. So we're still trying to come in and get to that soft, even spot where we need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the top of that column actually says through March 30, 2022, but.
Yeah, that was a typo.
But that's probably not right. But, through March would be like 75% of the year, so, you're at $30,000 and probably, 60 or 65% of the year, which is really low, so I think you did take advantage of the warm weather, but,
I apologize, I need to take this.
yeah. Captain off the bridge.
Number 2. Any other questions
No.
any other questions? Moving down to capital outlay. So Mingus Park Community Building. Just want to point out that on the community building, we are proposing a $20,000 budget for that line item. They suggested a $50,000, but we do have a assessment, so we're looking at a grant right now to do a building assessment at the Mingus Park Community Building. The match for that is about $16,000, so we're proposing $20,000 to be able to match that.
The construction line item there, two questions. It's much higher than the one the city is proposing, so I'm assuming you've got a project or two there you want to talk about. And that gets back to my other question on the income side, is that we don't have anything on capital improvement fund, but yet we have actually a capital outlay for construction of $457,000.
So yeah, if you look at the proposed budget or the approved budget from last year, it was $500,000 in that line item.
Yeah.
And so when we carried that over, and they proposed $50,000 for this year, and we do have some expenses that come out of that, out of the construction.
The construction last year was approved for $219,991, $220,000, and it looks like we've spent over that by about $70,000.
We have.
But I'm just saying, if you ask them for $457,000 there, you better be able to tell them what you're asking for.
Yeah, and so we do have projects scheduled for that. We do have some playground equipment.
Good.
That we want to purchase. It's about $200,000.
Everybody loves kids.
Yeah, everybody loves kids. So we got about $200,000 in playground equipment, and then some other projects that will be upcoming. But and then also we want to manage that construction carryover, so that that's that part. And we don't want to spend all of our capital because we don't have a funding source for it.
Okay. Well, you're talking apples and oranges. I don't see any money transferred from the general fund for capital improvement projects.
So,
and Jennifer just wants to get up there and
go ahead, Jennifer.
And
So it's in the carryover. So it's in the carryover from this fiscal year. It's the line that unfortunately was omitted from your PDF.
It's $881,000.
Yes, so it's in there. So so
you're
it's
gonna
in the
lower your
resources.
carryover is what you're saying
I'm
for
sorry?
the end of the year. You're going to lower your carryover
Correct.
at the end of the year.
Correct.
Because
And
we don't have that balance line here on this thing.
but what you're not seeing is a supplemental budget for this year that has not happened yet. So there's a supplemental budget that doesn't represent the LGGP grant, and it's in our finance directors. I think it's even coming up very soon, before June 30th anyways. So it's a little misleading, and I see where you're going, and it's very smart, very good question. It's just,
You're playing me now.
no, I'm not.
So we do have that, like Jennifer said.
Okay.
Supplemental budget, we do have carryover, we do have, those dollars are there.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
What do you think of that answer, Ariana?
I think it sounds perfect.
Kurt didn't like it.
well, no, I think whenever you're asking for more money in a line item, you have to be really good at justifying what it's for. And so as long as you can always make a strong case for, hey, this is what we're going to expend the money on, it's going to be a benefit to the city and the community and the residents here, then I think you're good. So.
Are we talking about the construction line item?
Yeah, the construction line item, yeah. And so, you know, that, like, you can come out and, just like you said, hey, $200,000 of that just by itself is going to be going into children's playground equipment in the parks. I mean, that's a great selling point. So that's really all. I mean, you know how much you want, so I'm fine with that. It's just being able to get them from 179,000 to 457. So.
Agreed. It's gonna be an uphill climb, but
I only have one last question. It's on the very bottom on the total parks funds expenditures. So they want to cut the Parks Department, if I'm reading this correctly, by about $570,000. That's their proposal. And your proposal is to just increase it over the prior budget year by about $20,000, and knowing that you're bringing in $40,000 in mortgage fees. I mean, it seems like you're being really reasonable, and I know the city has a lot of financial problems, but that's a huge cut, $570,000 out of a budget that's, you know, normally $180-some thousand. I mean, it's probably 40% cut in the budget. I mean, I didn't work the math, but it's significant. So that's, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the manager's proposed city budget concerns me because it's such a large cut.
And I don't know how much you have been listening to maybe other budget funds, but the general fund is in trouble. I mean, and we have to be cognizant of it, and we take money is transferred in, and there's so many funds. We got PD, we have fire, and maybe Commissioner Matthews or Councilor Matthews wants to speak to this as well. And so I think all the funds that utilize funds from the general fund, I think they're all seeing that those cuts, the belt tightening. And I think you're going to see that this budget year. So I think the city manager's proposal, that was a starting off point, and quite frankly might be an ending point. But we just wanted to show all the projects that need to get done, and that's why we did it the way we did it. What's unfortunate is we were hoping to meet with her before we met with you folks. So hopefully that doesn't confuse the issue. But I think all the funds are going to have to do a little belt tightening.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that everybody's going to probably have to take a look at their budgets and cut back. My concern is I just don't want the parks to take an ordinary amount of budget reduction compared to maybe some of the other departments. That's all.
Okay.
I mean, everybody needs to take their fair share. I get that, but you know, don't just axe the parks because it's easy. So.
Well, for what it's worth, I don't think any of this is easy for our city manager.
No. I think that goes back to our conversations about increasing revenue and income that comes in
Sure.
for parks and for the different services as a whole. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
agreed. Thank you, Jennifer.
Any other commissioner questions or comments about the expenditures section? Rex?
Well,
Can you turn your microphone?
not specifically towards the parks. So how many different budgets are there in the city? How many different, a dozen? I mean,
Oh, gosh, let me see if I can find that answer for you.
okay. And I guess the other part of that question is, you obviously have to have a budget audit. Do you audit these separately, or is it all just one big audit?
I can't speak to the audit. Jennifer, I don't know if you can talk to the audit. I don't know about the audit, but there's a large plethora of different.
It's one big audit.
Okay.
So all the funds are audited. And so I'm going to go right now to the city budget. It's opening. I see Christine over there madly. But we'll see who gets there first. I'm sure she'll be. Okay, so looking at the general fund, you have city. What happened here? I don't know if you want me to read all the funds.
Just a number, Jennifer.
Just a number. Okay. Sorry. I was at the table of contents, and then something crazy happened. Bear with me. There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 16 different funds are housed underneath the general fund. But again, there's several funds. There's like 3 or 4 funds. Fund 37, which is your Parks Fund, which are also having funds transferred from the general funds to those separate funds. Does that make sense? So it's 16 to 20 funds that rely on general funding. And if I'm off 1 or 2, please forgive me. But
Good. I thought 17. 16?
okay, you're welcome.
Harv, do you have any questions or? No. Carmen, do you have anything you would like to add or questions?
Sorry, hitting the mute button is always difficult. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't have a lot. This is, preliminary run, so we can run through it, and there'll be more budget discussions, and of course, a whole nother committee to go through on this. Kurt, I really appreciate you kind of giving us the run through on explanations so that we all have talking points, which I think is really important for explaining what we're asking for, why we're asking for it, and justifications. So I think we're doing good work here, but yeah, be sure nice if we could find another revenue stream, because I think that is our current task. It's just everything's getting tight. No one wants to raise taxes, but costs keep going up. So that's where I'm at. I think we're doing good.
Thank you, Carmen. Kurt, any other additional? No? All right. Any closing comments on the budget that you would like to wrap up with us? I appreciate this. I appreciate that this is part of our process now. I think it's really important for us to know. I mean, it's very easy for us to wave our hands and say, we want this done. But when we know the budget constraints and what everyone's dealing with, I think it gives us a really good perspective about where we're at. So thank you for preparing this and for being available to discuss it.
Yeah, I would second that too, because I know the first year that I was up here, I was kind of surprised that the Parks Commission didn't get to see the budget beforehand. Not because we have the final say, but at least we kind of knew where we were and what was maybe going to be happening in the future. So I think this is productive for us, and I really do appreciate you advocating for the Parks Department. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you, everybody, for bringing great questions. I know for Jennifer and myself, Lance, the rest of the staff, we're very cognizant about the budget. We worked very hard on putting together a budget that we think is sound. We think that our parks are worthy of this budget. We think that we have a lot of great resources that need the attention that it deserves. And I think our staff does a really great job with what we are given each year in and around our parks to do. And we work within those constraints very well. Mm-hmm. But we do always want more. I mean, we're just like the rest of the commission. We're just like the rest of our constituents in the cities. We want to have beautiful open places that we have to be able to go to. We want to be proud of them. And I think we are. But we can always hope for more, we always are very appreciative of what we do get to do in the parks. And so I really do appreciate the insights that were given today. We will try to include those to the budget committee, and we'll see where our efforts take us in the budget committee when we get to that point. And we'll keep our fingers crossed and excited to show you where we land at the end of at the beginning of the fiscal year, and then I look forward to next year and doing this all over again.
The only other, and it doesn't necessarily have to do specifically with this budget, but the staff has done a really good job in pursuing grants from the state and from private individuals and organizations this last year. And, you know, I think a case can be made that the Parks Department's worked really, really, really hard to look for other funding sources to be able to manage the parks and do things like the bathrooms at the Ball Diamond and Mingus Park. So, you know, I would tell them a little bit about your success, and I don't want to give them the opportunity to say, well, you should go out and look for grants, because that's what you've been doing. And that's part of the reason for the success. And I think you guys should own that and show them what a good job you've been doing.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on down to Commissioner closing comments. Yeah. Harv?
Real quickly, put on my Audubon hat for a minute. Ron Popish is going to be presenting 2 programs for the Audubon Society, one up here in Coos Bay and one up in Bandon. The one in Coos Bay is going to be next week on Wednesday. He'll be down in Bandon on the day before. So I know a lot of you have worked and seen Ron's work. You'll probably want to see his presentations if you get a chance. 7 o'clock at the library.
All right, thank you so much. Carmen, any closing comments?
None for me. Thank you, though.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I'm good, other than Mingus Park looks great.
Thank you. Greg?
No real comments, just thank you again for all the comments. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for taking your time again to volunteer for this commission.
Yeah, thank you. Christine, you good? All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in, for reviewing this, for being part of the process. You really can see the difference in our parks, and thank you so much to staff. You go above and beyond, and we appreciate that. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and we are adjourned.